How to stop masturbation addiction? Is that even possible? Yes, it is. I have not masturbated in over 36 years, and I have a polygraph to support that. So you're gonna wanna watch this particular segment because it can help you change your life. Now, if you've not subscribed to our channel, we have lots of stuff that can help you. Please do that. If you have a question, put it in the box. We'll get to it as soon as possible and get right back to you. So stay tuned and watch how to get free from masturbation addiction. Getting free from masturbation addiction. It is possible. Now let me tell you why I know and how many times I have seen thousands of men and women get free from masturbation. Now, I'm a recovering sex addict. I've been sober for over 36 years. I'm the president of the American Association of Sex Addiction Therapy, the executive director of Heart to Heart Counseling Center in Colorado Springs, where I have helped thousands of men and women one-on-one, doing intensives, doing individual counseling, get free from masturbation and stay free. I mean, getting free, you've gotten free for a day, 2 days, 5 days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month or two, but then you go back. How would you like to be free the rest of your life? You can be. You don't have to masturbate. It's not a physical need to do that. If your body needs to have an orgasm, it'll have a wet dream, okay? You'll get over that and you'll be fine, okay? But now if you start masturbating and you start masturbating regularly, you can create a masturbation addiction. So let's walk through that first and then talk about how to get free. If you've tried to stop and you failed, if you've made promises to yourself and you failed, if you've had consequences in your marriage or in relationships, or even the consequences of not dating or other consequences in your life, and you continued, all right, if you go through withdrawals, like if you haven't masturbated in a period of time and you think you're gonna die, okay, those are withdrawals, okay? If you've kind of maybe limited social or other activities in your life so that you could have more time doing this, if it has grown over the years, you know, it used to be like once a while, now it's like, you know, several times a week or every day, yeah, you've created an addiction. And if you said yes to most of what I'm talking about, you have an addiction. Now, can you get free? Absolutely. I have seen thousands of people get free. You are not unique. You are not stuck the rest of your life unless you try to do it all by yourself. Now, if you try to do it all by yourself, you're stuck. The best and the brightest. I've had billionaires, millionaires, sports figures, political figures, all kinds of important people from all over the world in my office, and they don't get better from masturbation by themselves, and neither will you. So if you are not going to tell anybody and you're not going to change, you're not going to change. Now, if you're open to some ideas, let me give you a handful of ideas that can really help you start your journey. Now, there's a lot of resources at sexaddict.com, sexaddict.com. If you call my office, 719-278-3708, there's a lot of resources there. You can get in groups, but I want to walk you through some helpful things, okay? Let me talk about the 5 commandments. This is something, if you were paying me, you know, my fee, which is significant, if you were sitting in my office and I said, okay, we realize you got a masturbation history, you've been masturbating since you've been 12 years old and you're 45. All right, great. Now what do we do? Let's start with the 5 commandments because that's something I would tell you right away. It's in the book, The Final Freedom, the 100 Exercises. This is something that is just solid, basic recovery stuff. Now you got to realize you have an addiction. This isn't going to change just by trying to stop. You're going to need help. But you're not going to need help forever. You're going to need help for a while until you can live life without this boo-boo mommy, without this, you know, blankie. And you can, all right? Because when you stop the masturbation addiction, you grow spiritually, emotionally, morally, incredibly stronger. And just on the side, I mean, I've had a lot of guys who control their own income. They are entrepreneurs, business owners, salespeople, someone like that. They tend to double their income in the first 12 months of recovery. I'll never forget, I was in Florida and I shared some of the things I'm going to share with you right now. And there was this Catholic guy in the back, and he took it in, and I was there the following year doing exactly the same conference, and he came up to me, he says, I need to take you to lunch. I want to tell you that you were wrong. So, well, okay, if my host is okay with that, I'll go. Cuban guy took me to a great Cuban restaurant there in Florida. It was fantastic. And he said, well, I have to take you to lunch. I need to tell you that you were wrong. He said, last year you said here, if I stop masturbation and porn, I could double my income. Now I work in a corporation, and so I understand it's a little different. But he says, I didn't double my income. I quadrupled my income in 12 months, and I'm buying you lunch to say thank you. It's possible. Okay, I need you to understand it's possible. Just because you haven't experienced it, it's possible. Maybe you're not a billionaire, but it's possible people become billionaires. Maybe you can't bench press 500 pounds, but someone else can. Just because you haven't experienced it, it doesn't mean it's not possible. I've been free for 36 years. It's possible, okay? And it gets easier and easier the longer you get free. So let's talk about the 5 commandments to get free to start with. Number 1, pray. Ask God, higher power, universe, ask whoever you're connected to. And if you're not connected, say, God, I don't know who you are, but I'm supposed to pray. Fine. Just pray. God, I need help to stay clean today. Okay, this opens you up to your spiritual development. It's good for you to realize you're not in the world all by yourself. Number 2, read. Literature related to sexual addiction recovery. Now you can read lots of blogs. I'd encourage you to get The Final Freedom. It goes through the 6 types of sex addicts. It explains how to do recovery, all that kind of stuff. It gives you a lot of information. That would be a super read for you. And if you're married to someone and she's struggling with what's happened, we have stuff for partners recovery healing as well that could be helpful for her. But so you pray, you read, okay? Number 3, groups. You have to go to a group. Now, if you can't find one face-to-face, that's possible depending on how rural an area you live in, okay? We have lots of phone groups you can get involved in. So just call our office, 719-278-3708, and say you want to get in a group, and they'll give you a couple therapist phone numbers that you can call, and you can find out what that costs to do that and get in it, okay? And then you call these guys every day, okay? So you pray, you read, you go to meetings, and number 4 is calls. You call the people in your group every day, at least for the first 90 days, checking in just to say, hey, this is what's going on with me, here's my day. All right, great. If you're thinking about relapse, thinking about masturbating, you call someone and say, hey, I'm really under a lot of pressure, I'm thinking about it. And you'll be amazed at how just talking to another person of the same gender, it dissipates. It's like, whew, because usually you're just emotionally constipated. And in the past, since you've been 12, 13, 14 years old, when you're overwhelmed emotionally, you masturbate so that you don't develop emotions, you just masturbate. Well, now, if you don't masturbate, you can start saying, oh my gosh, I feel really stressed, I feel really hurt. My wife said no to me sexually last night, so I thought that was the end of the world. And you get it off your chest and you begin to start trusting other people with your emotions, which means you start maturing. The more mature you get, the easier it is to resist the addiction process. Number 5, pray again. Thank God for keeping you clean that one day. Now there's lots of other things you can do. We have a book called The 101 Exercises. You probably need to get that. Work through that. There's a 12-step workbook. Work through that. There's lots of materials, and getting in a group and getting support is critical. You've tried, you've cried, you've prayed, you've been disappointed with yourself, and you've got this little secret you don't have to have anymore. You can be free, stronger spiritually, emotionally, morally, and even make more money and have better sex. The guys who stop masturbating who are married, they tell me they have much more incredible sex than before when they were masturbating several times a week. Why? You're more present. You're more connected. You don't have a secret. You're not afraid to be known. You could enter a whole new life without a masturbation addiction. So I encourage you to do the things that are here to do and make your life as free as you want it to be. If we can be of service, give us a call. If you haven't subscribed, please do that, subscribe. And then if you haven't asked a question but you need to, go ahead and ask. But you can be free the rest of your entire life.